The point is that right now we have a withdrawal of the Americans and the NATO from Afghanistan after 20 years, as was respected and also promised by the Biden administration, the liberal Democrats, that we don't have anything to do over there. After two-thirds of Afghanistan has already been occupied by the Taliban, and the fear is that within weeks of the U.S. Withdrawal till the end of the August 9/11, it's going to be the Kabul capital not only is right now occupied, also the 83 billion invested in the renewed Afghan army could not reach the Taliban in the country's various borders areas, that they got to the all around the borders, and the government and the recruited militants and those that it confronts from criminal gangs and patrons to slow down the Taliban raid. They couldn't, and the Pashtuns that are a larger ethnic group in Afghanistan, I think more than 40%, and the Taliban is the fruit of the Pashtun extremists, especially during the Soviet invasion that we already mentioned in 1978 to Afghanistan, and the chaos following the defeat of the Russians. And as we remember, these militants were brought up and brainwashed by these Taliban and Al-Qaeda by CIA support in Pakistan, that made the double standard part of the money took for the brainwashing for the schools for the Taliban, because those just men were in Afghanistan confronting and fighting against the Russians, and the children and women were in Pakistan in the schools for brain washing. It means that the militants that Afghan government has approached and funded with the Western money to stop the Taliban come mostly from the either minorities, and they right now these armies that's about 2080 or 300,000, they don't have the a mental power to gonna confront, and they put their rifles and ran away to in comparison with the 60 or 70,000 Taliban who came back from from Pakistan to conquer all these areas. In these days, that militants are being repaired, just like the Taliban. The opium economy of Afghanistan is leaning right now, and what against the advantages of those right now, like China and the Soviet Union, that the Russian over time, that right now they are coming to recognize these Taliban ruthless, like animals that cut off their heads and throats, and were hiding themselves in the caves, coming outside and make selfies. All those Taliban 20 years ago are changed or not. Before 20 years, they were every television, TV that we could find, they were hammer, and they were breaking it. You see the picture from 20 years that were the Taliban in the power 1996 to 2001. You see all these areas, the women by the Sharia law couldn't get outside, and the woman status was hurt as well. If the daughter got out of the house without permission of the father, he could just cut the ear and cut the nose his daughter that took him right away to the hospital, to Germany and America, and remodeled the nose of his daughter that got the Nobel Prize for the human rights. It means that what is it? What does it mean Taliban means? As like ISIS, what does it mean? So why the not only media and the as well as you say the liberal Democrats that's fighting for the civil rights, fighting for the human rights, they are in silence. The mass media and the media is silent about getting power. Mullahs in 1979 that thousands of people that massacred and were killed and were hanged until now. There was even that teenagers they were hanged in Iran. The Raisi, the president, got to the power right now. It was the butcher of Tehran as a judge. It means that not only the double standards, it's in the in the European categories and the concepts and so on, but it's getting to the point. What's the reason? And the reason is so obvious. Because we say the belt of the it's the green belt of the Brzezinski that they wanted to make the Islamists against the Russian invasion to these places.